Welcome back to News 9. Now, the entire horror moment caught on camera. Now, it was around 5:36 in the evening when some of the students wanted to head to the center of this particular river. Now, they did not know that this river was connected to the waters of a dam. Now, they were there basically on an excursion from Hyderabad, engineering students, and they wanted to take pictures. Now, once the waters started rising, the intensity of water started to increase. So a few students noticed this and began screaming, trying to alert everyone to rush back as soon as possible. But you can see one of the students already has fallen into the water and tries his or her best to actually swim with their arms, but unfortunately is swept away, and that's when all hell broke loose. Everyone is screaming. No one knows what's to be done. Some do try to jump from one boulder to another boulder, but it's not easy for them, because even to head back onto dry land, it's connected by water. So if they'd stepped into that, they would be washed away. And hence you can clearly see that they actually stand put on the boulders themselves. In fact, if you have just tuned into News 9, this is the unedited footage of what happened, the tragic incident that took place in Himachal Pradesh. You can see the students. We will show you once more right from the beginning, but what has happened now is the last few students on the last two boulders over there being washed away. 24 of them lost their lives when they heard no alarm. In fact, the villagers claim that no alarm was sounded, no hooters were sounded. And there you can see some of the students in the water being washed away. The intensity of the water was so much that there was no chance for them to, even if they knew swimming, to save themselves or save others. Well, there you can see some of the students in the water being washed away, taken along with the flow. Now, 3 days after 24 students of the VNR Vijnana Jyoti College of Engineering in Hyderabad were washed away after water from the Larji hydropower project dam was released without warning, a heart-rending video of the unfortunate incident has surfaced. This is what you are seeing now. The video shows students on the river enjoying themselves and taking pictures when suddenly the water level rises, washing them away in the raging waters of the Beas River in Himachal Pradesh. Now, this video was taken by a shopkeeper. The footage clearly reveals that some locals tried to warn the students, but as they were quite far away, their voice could not reach them. Well, there you can see some of their friends running, but there was nothing they too could do. Now, this was just an excursion. They did not have any safety nets, safety measures, nothing as such. They did not know that the dam authorities would open the gates and let water flow with such ferocity that washed away 24 students. Imagine that, 24 students lost their lives in a matter of a few minutes. We'll take a look at what we are showing you once more. This is the unedited footage of what happened that day. One by one, you can see the students being washed away. They were all standing on 3 to 4 boulders right there in the center of this particular river. It was at around 5:36 in the evening. They were taking pictures. There you see once more the students struggling to hold on to what they can, but what more can they do? The intensity of water is so much, there's nothing for them to grip as such. And there you see some of them already fallen, some of them still clinging on to dear life. Some do try to save themselves by moving their arms, trying somehow to do something to save themselves, but unfortunately the force of the water was such that they could not do anything. Some could have died immediately out of shock, others would have drowned, and many others would have hit their heads onto the large number of rocks or boulders present in the center of this particular river. few minutes ago, this was a very calm river. They were standing right in the center of the boulders, and then all of a sudden, without any warning, the waters from the dam were left, and 24 students lost their lives. There you can see it was completely dry as such. The rocks were dry. They somehow managed to move from one rock to another rock, but all of a sudden the waters took them along with Now the force of the water was so much that they could not do anything. They could not also hold on to the rocks. There was nothing for them to hold on to. There was no grip as such. Now on the right you can see there on that road, a small road, some of their friends actually screaming, some of them running downstream, hoping that somehow they would be able to help them, but nothing was possible. The force of the water was such that it just took them away. Now meanwhile, search operations continued on day 4. The rescue officials said there are almost no chances of finding any more bodies. So far, bodies of only 5 of the 24 students have been recovered. As many as 19 students and 1 tour guide are still missing. In fact, an official from the NDRF stated yesterday that they might be able to find the bodies, but they're not too sure. One is there's no hope of anyone surviving. It's all about finding the bodies. It could take a day, it could take 2 days, a week, a month, and maybe they would never be able to find the bodies. The entire holiday horror caught on camera. In fact, this was shot by a shopkeeper over there. Now you can hear in the background the people trying to warn them, trying to scream, but since they were pretty far away, the students could not hear what they were saying, and the students also did not hear the alarm if an alarm or the hooters were sounded. In fact, the villagers state that no alarm, no hooters were sounded. Now normally when the dam gates are open, or before the dam gates are open, if it's controlled by private organizations or by the government, the people living downstream, the villagers, are always informed well in advance that so-and-so that the gates will be open at this particular point of time, to take care, avoid staying anywhere near the banks of this particular river and head up to higher ground. But in this case, no information, no intimation took place at all. Even though the authorities state that the alarms were sounded, well, these kids did not hear about it, and they did not know that this river was connected by a dam. In fact, this video also refutes the claims made by the authorities that sirens were sounded before releasing the water, because if the sirens were sounded, one could have actually heard it, but all of a sudden you could see it's peaceful, the boulders are visible, and then the waters just start flowing through. Now, days after 24 students of the VNR Vignana Jyoti College of Engineering were washed away after waters from the Larji hydropower project dam was released without warning, this is a heart-rending video of the unfortunate incident that has come to light. The video shows students on the river enjoying themselves and taking photographs when suddenly the water level rises, washing them away in the raging waters of the Bears River in Himachal Pradesh. The video was taken by a shopkeeper. The footage reveals that some locals tried to warn the students, but as they were quite far away, their voices could not reach them. There you can see the boulders, and then suddenly the water starts to, the force of the water flow increases with such a ferocity